When you send your resume to an employer through the mail or email, it's a good idea to send a cover letter to introduce yourself. This presentation will show you how to put together a basic cover letter. References are usually required as well, since employers will want to check with people who know about your qualifications. In this presentation, you will also learn how to write a separate page for your references, rather than including them as part of your resume. Your references can be taken with you if you are offered an interview, or they can be mailed, emailed, or given to the employer once they ask for them. This is a sample of a cover letter, and this slide is included in your handouts, so you can use it as a guide. You may want to get that out at this time. Take a moment to look over the parts of the cover letter. The letter begins with your name and your contact information, the date, and then the name, title, and address of the person you are writing the letter to. A standard cover letter has 3 paragraphs: the introductory paragraph, the middle 1 or 2 paragraphs, and the closing paragraph. This is followed by the word sincerely, your signature, then your name, and the word enclosure if you are mailing your letter with your resume, or the word attachment if you are emailing your letter with your resume. Here are some things to keep in mind when you are writing a cover letter. First, find out the name and job title of the person who does the interviewing or the hiring. If you are not sure, you can call the organization and tell the receptionist that you are sending your resume, and you can ask for the name of the person you should address it to and their title and the company name and address. Or you can ask for the name of the Human Resources Director and address your letter to them. Make sure you find out the correct spelling of the person's name. Receptionists are used to getting such calls, but if you're not feeling comfortable with this, talk to your Watch Career Coordinator for suggestions. Tailor each cover letter to the specific job you are applying for, instead of using a one-size-fits-all cover letter. Make sure to mention the position you are applying for. Use the cover letter to grab the employer's attention by pointing out how interested you are in the position and how you are the best candidate for the job. Write in a professional manner rather than the more informal way you would text or email a friend. Make sure your spelling and grammar are correct. And don't forget that you are sending your resume and cover letter in hopes of getting an interview, so make sure you ask the employer for the interview. Proofread your letter and have other people proofread it as well. Someone else may catch something that you didn't see. Here is an outline of the parts of a cover letter we just discussed. Begin with your full name. If you are licensed, you can place a comma after your name and include your credentials. Next, list your full mailing address with the city, state, and zip on a separate line. Under that, list your phone number, including the area code in parentheses, and under that, list your professional-sounding email address. Don't forget to check your email regularly. Leave a blank line, then type today's date. Leave another blank line and list the name of the person you are sending the letter to, followed by a comma, and their title, such as Director of Human Resources or Nurse Recruiter. On the next line, list the correctly spelled full name of the company. Then list the mailing address as you did for your own address. Do not list the company's phone number or email address. Leave a blank line, then start with the word Dear, then Mr. or Mrs., and list their name followed by a colon. Leave another blank line, then begin your first paragraph. In the first paragraph, state the name of the position you are applying for and how you heard about the position. For example, from the organization's website. Then include a sentence to attract the employer's attention. Leave another blank line, then in the second paragraph, include a few sentences to summarize your most important skills, accomplishments, and qualities, and why you are a good applicant for the position. Do not be afraid to let the employer know why you are a good fit for their organization. Leave another blank line, then in the third paragraph, since your goal is an interview, mention your interest in discussing the job in person. Express appreciation and let the person know you look forward to hearing from them. You may restate your phone number and email address here. Leave another blank line, then type the word sincerely. Leave a few blank lines if you are going to mail the letter, then sign your name in ink and type your name under that. If you will be emailing your resume, you will not have the signature. Leave one more blank line after you type your name, then type the word enclosure if you are mailing the letter with your resume. If you are emailing the letter with your resume, you can use the word attachment instead. When mailing your cover letter and resume, do not staple them together. Here are just a few ideas for some phrases that you could use in each section of the cover letter. For the first paragraph, I enjoyed meeting you at the recent Central Pennsylvania Career Fair. Or, I recently met Ms. Chambers from your organization who attended the Watch Regional Cohort at Celebration Hall. She recommended that I contact you about my qualifications for the RN position with your hospital. For the second paragraph, the following are some of the highlights of my healthcare experience. Or, I am eager to make a contribution to your organization. For the third paragraph, I look forward to meeting with you, Mr. Edwards, and I will give you a call early next week to answer any questions you may have about my qualifications. Or, I would appreciate an opportunity to meet with you to discuss my qualifications and the needs of your organization in more depth. These are just a few samples. If you need more ideas, check with your Watch Career Coordinator. Here is another look at the sample cover letter, which is included in your handouts, so you can use it as a guide. If you are mailing your resume and cover letter, address the envelope exactly the same as you did in the cover letter. If your printer can print on envelopes or print mailing labels, that will make your envelope look professional. If you are not sure how to do this, you can check with your Watch Career Coordinator, or you can neatly address the envelope by hand. Then fold your cover letter and resume into thirds before inserting them into the envelope. Again, remember, do not staple them together. And a few final reminders. When you write a cover letter to send with your resume, first personalize the letter rather than beginning with "to whom it may concern." Take the time to research the company. Call them, look on their website, or talk to other people to find out the correct contact person, their job title and address. Make your letter specific to each company you send it to. The cover letter should be a one-page document consisting of 3 to 4 paragraphs. Make sure the reader can tell what job you are applying for, why you are the right person for the job, and what you will do next. State what you will do in your closing paragraph. For example, that you will contact the employer in a week to follow up. Then make sure you actually do follow up. Proofread your letter and have 2 other people read it before you send it out. The final document covered in this presentation is the reference page. The reference page is not part of the resume, and it is not normally sent with the resume unless an employer asks for it to be sent. But employers will want to check your references, and you should have them ready before you begin sending out your resume. A reference is someone who knows you and who can talk about your suitability for the job you are applying for. As explained in another Watch presentation, you will want to choose people who know you professionally and who will say good things about you. This could be your school advisor, a recent instructor, current or recent supervisors, or your Watch career coordinator. When choosing people as your references, remember to ask them before you list them as a reference. You can simply say, "May I use you as a reference?" If they hesitate or don't answer you or say no, do not list them. Stick with people who readily agree to give you a positive reference. Do not use friends or relatives. Also, it's better to use supervisors instead of co-workers. Make sure you spell the person's name correctly and include their name, job title, address, and phone number. Finally, make sure your references know what type of jobs you are applying for and that they should expect calls from potential employers. This is a sample of a reference page for an RN applicant. 3 professional references are usually enough. Kathy has listed one of her instructors first because she will be able to talk about Kathy's clinical skills. Next, Kathy has listed her Watch career coordinator. If potential employers do not know about Watch and they ask you about it, you can explain that Watch is a selective scholarship program, and you can direct them to the Watch website, www.csiu.org/watch. For Kathy's third reference, she has used a work reference who can speak about Kathy's qualities as an employee. Kathy has checked with each of these people before giving out her reference page. Each of them has told her they would give her a good reference. She has explained to them what type of jobs she is applying for and told them to expect calls or emails from potential employers. Kathy has confirmed that she has the correct email address, mailing address, phone number, and job title for each reference, and she has checked that she has everything spelled correctly. An easy way to do this is to ask each of your references for one of their business cards and confirm that everything on it is up to date. Some tips for creating successful email cover letters are the same As for paper cover letters, be professional with correct spelling and grammar. Other tips pertain only to the electronic medium, and when disregarded, could ruin your chances before your foot is even in the door. First, take the time to learn the company's guidelines for submitting resumes and cover letters, and follow them. Many companies list these guidelines on their websites. Also, don't include attachments unless they are requested. Some companies block all emails with attachments to prevent viruses. If the job posting asks you to send your resume as an attachment, make sure to first save it as a PDF or as a Microsoft Word document using the File, Save As option from your word processing software. Use your name and the position you are applying for as the file name so the employer knows whose resume and cover letter it is and for which job. For example, Kathy Carney, CNAapplicant.com. If the employer does not accept attachments, paste your cover letter followed by your resume into your email. You may need to remove any fancy formatting. The subject line of your email should include the name of the position you are applying for. Be sure to send a test email to yourself first to test that the formatting works. Open any attachments if you are sending them to make sure the file is in the right format and that it opens correctly.